My name is Robert Stode. I'm a physician. I'm internist, nephrologist, board certified in the United States. I've been interested in the alien investigations since 1947 when I first read about them in the newspaper of the Roswell crash. I've never seen a specimen quite like this ever in my life. On the right-hand side here we have a normal skull which shows the fontanelles and all to be closed, which is expected because fontanelles close between 4 and 14 months. When you look at the optic nerves in here, those are the normal optic nerves, if you can get the recording of that. On this particular skull, you see that the fontanelle at the top is open. So if this is a human skull, it would have to be between 4 and 14 months. However, the skull is so out of proportion to the rest of the body that it makes it, you wonder whether this is actually a human skull or not. I cannot say that this is not, but when you look at the size of the skull, which is smaller, the optic nerves are essentially the same size as what we saw in the normal adult human skull, so which means that the optic nerves are, appear to be bigger for the size of the skull than the normal human skull. We did take a still picture behind the skull, and it did not show the two pinpoint indentations that we see in some of the other elongated skulls. So in essence, I've never seen anything like this. It could very well be a hybrid or an alien. I just can't say for sure, but it certainly is different.
And in terms of the dentition?
The dentition, see, if it's a child, you can only expect to have 20 teeth. If it's an adult, you should have about 32. Now, I can't count the teeth here, but it's known that some alien species have 20 teeth, which has been found by a dentist in either Wisconsin or Michigan. Size with this very small chest, and here you see an arm which looks like it's disproportionate to what you would expect with the chest cavity. Mm-hmm. In other words, much longer. So that humerus is much longer than one would expect. And
so in terms of the shape of the skull, would you say that there's any known medical condition such as hydrocephaly that would result in such proportions and shape?
Well, hydrocephalus in a child can cause a disproportionate, but it's generally disproportionate in the same fashion. In other words, in a child where the fontanelles have not been closed, it would expand disproportionate, much like you see in the normal, mm-hmm. rather than in an elongated fashion such as this.
So it would be more like a beach ball shape than a vertical conehead shape.
Right. This is a conehead shape, and it's not really a hydrocephalus-shaped skull.
Dr. Carl, could you please tell us who you are, your background, and then your impressions of what you are looking at?
Well, I'm Carl Good. I'm a molecular geneticist, but I spent most of my career developing medical tests, everything from cholesterol to HIV to drugs of abuse, and I'm pretty current on the modern genetic processes and theories. Mm-hmm. And this is very interesting to me. I'm not an anatomist, but the fact that the front of the skull is protruding out, and that's where the frontal lobes are, and that's what gives you your personality and conscious control. But it's an amazing specimen.
And in terms of DNA analysis, if we were to extract a sample from this being, what would you recommend in terms of tissue or material would be the best?
Well, one of the biggest challenges is really contamination from other humans, so that it's very hard to tell that as a difference. If you get contamination from bacteria and mold, they're so different, they're easy to separate out. So you want something that's sequestered, like the inside of a tooth or the inside of a bone that hasn't been handled, so to minimize the chance for contamination from the people who would have interacted with this specimen.
Okay.